If summer feels like pressure, but winter feels like relief, you're not alone. And you're not strange. Some people don't thrive in heat and sunlight. They thrive when the world gets quiet. Psychology calls this a low arousal preference, and winter is the only season that honors it instead of fighting it. Winter people are a minority, not in numbers, but in temperament. While most of the world panics about the cold and the dark, winter people feel calm, focused, and finally unobserved. Winter people aren't avoiding life, they're seeing it at a higher resolution. There's a reason for that, and it has less to do with weather and more to do with stimulation, performance, and the biology of rest. Today we're exploring why some nervous systems bloom in the frost, why summer feels like a stage performance they never auditioned for, and why the dark months offer a kind of permission that no one talks about. To understand that, we have to step into winter itself. The glass is freezing. You press your forehead against the pane and the chill stings your skin for a second before it turns into a numb, steady pulse. Outside, the street lamp has a hazy orange glow, illuminating nothing but gray pavement and the skeletal branches of a tree that stopped pretending to be alive months ago. Most people see this and feel a pang of dread. They see a world that's dying. They see a lack of color, a lack of life. But for you, the sight of that gray sky feels like a long, slow exhale. It feels like the world finally stopped shouting. On the surface, this looks like a simple preference for staying in. It looks like you're just not a summer person. But the difference is deeper than your wardrobe. It's not that you hate the sun, it's that you're exhausted by what the sun demands of you. You start to wonder if there's a reason you feel more awake when the world goes dark. You wonder why your brain finally seems to switch on just as the temperature drops. In the summer, the world is a stage. The light is aggressive. It bleeds through the curtains at 5 in the morning, demanding that you be productive, that you be out there, that you maximize every second of good weather. There's a weight to a bright Saturday in July, a pressure to be happy, to be tan, to be surrounded by people and noise. You think, I have to make this count. I'm wasting the day if I stay inside. And maybe that's the missing key to why we love the dark. It is a secret buried in our biology that the rest of the world has completely overlooked. Winter isn't a season of loss. It's a sanctuary from the obligation of being seen. This is what we call the summer tax, the psychological cost of living in a high-stimulation, high-visibility environment. Most people pay the tax without question. We are the ones who finally stopped paying. We find our peace behind what we call the sensory shield. Think about the weight of a heavy wool coat hanging on the back of your door. It's not just a garment, it's armor. When you zip it up, you're creating a border. You're encased. The world cannot touch your skin. There's a specific kind of safety in being bundled, layers of cotton, down, and wool acting as a physical buffer between your nervous system and the chaos of the street. In the summer, your skin is exposed. You're vulnerable to the air, to the heat, to the eyes of others. Your boundaries are thin. But in the dead of January, you are a fortress. When you walk outside, the air hits your lungs like a sharp intake of cold truth. It's crisp. It's honest. There's no humidity to soften the edges of things. The world feels smaller, more manageable. The park that was overflowing with screaming children and loud music 6 months ago is now a graveyard of silence. You find yourself walking faster, chin tucked into your scarf, eyes down. You think, just me and the sidewalk. No one expects a conversation right now. This is the first mark of our tribe. We do not fear the cold because the cold is the only thing that feels as sharp as our own thoughts. In a world that is constantly cranking the volume to 10, we are the ones who know how to live at a 2. The muted colors, the slates, the browns, the deep navy blues, do not ask anything of your eyes. They let you rest. Environmental psychologists call this refuge appeal. It is the satisfaction of being in while the out is harsh. But for you, it is more than just shelter. It is a filter. You're reclaiming the right to choose which stimuli get to cross the threshold of your mind. Consider the radiator in the corner. It clicks and hisses. It's a small, mechanical heart. In the summer, the heat is an enemy that follows you everywhere. It's oppressive and inescapable. But winter heat is intentional. It's something you curate. You sit near that radiator with a mug of lukewarm coffee, and the world shrinks down to the four walls of your room. The heat becomes a choice. The cold becomes the canvas. This is how we begin to pay off the social performance debt. There is a specific weight that lifts from your shoulders when the first frost hits the ground. Think of your phone sitting on the nightstand. In June, a "let's grab drinks" text at 7 p.m. feels like a debt you have to pay. If you say no, you're the boring one. You're missing out. There's a frantic energy to the summer social calendar, a feeling that you must consume every drop of light before it's gone. But when the wind is howling and the rain is turning into sleet, that same text becomes a choice that requires no apology. You think, the world is closed. I'm finally allowed to be here. This is your social shield. For us, winter isn't an obstacle, it's a permission slip. It's the one time of year when your need for solitude is supported by the weather. Behavioral economists call this reversed opportunity framing. In the summer, the opportunity cost of staying home is high. You are missing the sun. In the winter, the cost flips. The outside option is so unappealing that staying in becomes the objectively superior choice. Society operates on a false synchronicity. This is the lie that our energy, our social battery, and our output should remain a flat, unyielding line from January to December. It is the demand that humans behave like machines, producing at the same speed regardless of the environment. But we know better. We feel the shift in our bones. You find a strange peace in the early dark. When the sun goes down at 4:30 p.m., the performance of being a person in society is effectively over. The lights in the office buildings look like amber jewels. You can close your blinds, turn on a single lamp, and exist in the quiet glow of your own life. While everyone else is complaining about the short days, we are celebrating the long evenings. This creates a phenomenon called temporal compression. When the sun sets early, the day has a clear, hard boundary. The external day ends, and the internal day begins. The evening is where the real work happens, the internal work. The reading, the thinking, the staring at the wall without feeling like you're wasting the sunshine. You are finally out of the spotlight. You think, the sun is gone, now I can see. We are the ones who find the sound of a winter house more interesting than the sound of a summer party. The house settles, the floorboards creak, the wind pushes against the siding. These are the sounds of a world in a state of the hearth mind. You are not withdrawing because you're sad. You're withdrawing because you are full. You are processing the data of the year. You are sorting through the noise. In this silence, we reach what psychologists call optimal cognitive density. We often mistake stillness for stagnation. We look at a frozen lake and see something that isn't moving. We think it's dead. But beneath that ice, there's a very specific kind of survival happening. Life hasn't stopped. It's narrowed its focus. It's moved the energy from the extremities to the core. It's keeping the heart beating. Our preference for winter is a survival adaptation. It's how we recalibrate. If summer is the season of doing, winter is the season of being. It's the time when your brain stops scanning the horizon for the next thing and starts looking inward at the things you've ignored. Think of the steam rising from a mug. Notice the way the light catches the dust in a single cold beam. These aren't just cozy tropes, they are identity anchors. They are the small, tangible proofs of your own existence in a world that feels vast, cold, and indifferent. You think, the world is harsh, but my mind is warm. I am still here. Psychologically, the winter lover is not running away from life. You're running toward a more concentrated version of it. When the world outside is stripped of its leaves and its warmth, you're forced to find warmth from within. You're forced to rely on your own thoughts for entertainment. Without the distraction of external beauty and social obligation, your brain can finally reach its highest resolution. Studies consistently show that people perform better on cognitive tasks when the weather is bad. The mechanism is simple. The brain stops calculating alternative uses of time. There is no beach you should be at, no picnic you declined. The gray sky hangs a no distraction sign over the world. Think about the New Year pressure. Society tells us that January 1st is the time to start, to sprint, to change. But nature tells us the opposite. Nature tells us that January is the time to sleep. It's the time to wait. We do not feel the need to bloom in the frost. We understand that the roots need the cold to strengthen. We are comfortable with the waiting. There's a dignity in the bareness of the trees. They aren't trying to impress anyone. They aren't wearing leaves to look healthy. They're just standing there, enduring, waiting for the right time. You feel a kinship with those trees. You think, it's okay to be bare. It's okay to be still. My strength is underground. This sense of peace is the result of a deep biological echo. There's a concept in psychology known as low arousal positive affect, or LAPA. While most of Western culture prizes high arousal states, excitement, euphoria, high energy joy, many people find their happy place in low arousal states, calm, serenity, and peace. Research conducted by psychologists like Dr. Jean Tsai at Stanford confirms that our ideal affect, the way we want to feel, is not a universal standard. For the winter lover, the cold weather acts as a natural environmental regulator for LAPA. The lower temperatures and lower light levels literally slow down the nervous system. Your heart rate settles. Your cortisol levels drop because the threat of social obligation has been removed by the storm outside. It's not that you're sad. It's that your biology is finally being allowed to enter a biological cooling mode. You're cooling the engine. While the rest of the world is chasing high-energy excitement, the loud, the bright, the frantic, we have discovered the power of the calm. Winter is our natural regulator. It allows for a level of focus that the summer simply won't allow. We aren't being lazy, we are being efficient. We are using the silence to build something that requires a depth of field that the summer sun washes out. Because at the end of the day, we are the keepers of the hearth. If you feel more like yourself when the trees are bare and the air is biting, you do not need to fix your mood. You do not need a sun lamp to trick your brain into thinking it's July. The world needs the winter people. It needs the ones who can handle the silence. It needs the ones who find beauty in the skeletal, the muted, and the still. While everyone else is chasing the light, someone needs to stay behind and tend to the inner life. You are the keeper of the hearth. You are the one who knows that growth does not always happen in the sun. Sometimes, the most important growth happens in the dark, under the frost, where no one is watching. Your preference is not a flaw. It's a rhythm. It's a deep, ancient understanding that life requires a pause. Society will always celebrate the harvest, the bright colors, the loud festivals, the heat of the sun. But the harvest is only possible because of the winter. The soil needs the freeze to break down the old and prepare for the new. You are that process. You are the breakdown of the old self. You are the quiet preparation. You are the roots. And the roots need the cold to grow strong. If you find peace in the quiet moments that others fear, you have a home here. We don't sell productivity hacks, and we don't look for ways to fix your personality. We provide the language for the life you're already living. Subscribe to The Missing Key and join a community that looks for the hidden logic behind the things we all feel but rarely say out loud. You aren't being described here. You are being recognized. You are the quiet mind in a loud world, and that is not a condition to be cured. It is an advantage to be wielded. There is a peace in the human landing. Tonight, when you turn out the lamp and the room goes dark, do not look for the light. Just listen to the wind against the glass. Feel the weight of the blanket on your chest. Notice the way your breath slows down. You aren't alone in the cold. You aren't missing out on the world. You are finally, deeply home.